everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make an interactive chart in Excel. This will help take your data and bring a little life to it. So the first thing we need to do is, like with any chart, is to get our data. Today I'm going to be using data that I've got from my job. It shows online transaction trends for companies' air travel. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make this data and turn it into a table. This will help in the future if you need to do any edits or additions to the data. That way it'll make it a nice smooth transition. So what you'll do is you'll highlight the data, click Insert, click Table, make sure that the range is complete, click OK, and voila, you've got your table. So after we've taken that on, what we'll do is we'll create the drop-down box first. So what you'll do is you'll go up to the Developer tab over here, and you'll click on the Insert area. Now there's two sorts of controls. There's a Form control and an ActiveX control. What we want to use for our purposes, this is the Form control. So what you'll do is you can click on any one of these. I use the combo box. I find that the easiest. So what we'll do is we'll just outline a combo box. You want to make it large enough so that way when you click onto it, it'll show everything you want in there completely. So that should about do it. And now we've got our drop-down box, albeit an empty drop-down box. So with an empty drop-down box, we'll now format it so that way it can capture data. So what we'll do is we'll right-click onto the data box and click Format Control. The Format Control box will appear, and the first thing you want to do is go to the input range. The input range is going to be anything that you want to be in the drop-down box. For this purpose, we're going to take the regions that are represented by the data. So we'll click that range there. And the next thing you want to do is click a cell link. The cell link is going to help show where the data that you're going to be putting into the drop-down box is. So we'll click just any empty cell, A14 for our purposes here, and we'll click OK. And now we've got drop-down box that's fully operational, or at least name-wise operational. So the next thing we need to do is we need to link our data with the drop-down box before we can make a chart. So to do that, we're going to use the index function. So what we'll do is we'll go to the empty cell and we'll just click equals index. So that way it'll bring up the index function. And what we'll do is the first thing we need to do is click on the same array that we're capturing in the box. So what we'll do here is click on it there. And then what we need to do is we need to click onto the A14 space that we had made for our drop-down box. What we need to do though is we need to make that an absolute, so we're going to just type it in manually for ourselves here. And now, voila. Now we've got a link over to the table. So what you'll do then is just copy this over for about 7 rows. So that's how much data we've got there. And we're going to need one more. Okay, so there's our data. Let's just format our data. So this is in a percentage form. So we'll just go to Format Cells, go to Number, Percentage, and we'll just do it for one space there. So now we've got our data linked over there. The next thing we want to do is just take the fields that they represent and just highlight them, put them over there as well, because we're going to be using that in order to make our chart. And now the benchmark, as you see, we didn't put in there. That's something that we want to create separately. So what we'll do is we'll do another index function and just create that data there. So what we'll use is that data there, bang. And again, we want to make it an absolute, so that way only referencing A14 as we put in further. And voila. And And what we'll want to do is we're going to want to make both of these absolute because we want every one of the functions in there to be represented by the benchmark. So once we're through doing that, we'll just copy and paste it. And voila. Now I just need to format it real quick. %1, bang. Oh. Okay, so now we're all set. So now the final step that we're going to want to do is now create the chart. So what we'll do is we'll go to Insert up here, and we'll look for a chart. We'll just create a bar chart just to make it just a nice simple chart. So what we'll do is we'll just click that down here, and now what we want to do is obviously select our data. So we're going to select our data. That'll be our fields right over here. And now you see the charts coming to life. So now you see the global series over here. We can edit this. We'll make it the benchmark data. And we'll click OK. So now, as you'll see, the data is now linked to our drop-down. So now the rest of this is just formatting. I mean, I take out the grid lines usually, and what I'll do is I'll add some data labels to there. Now, the reason why we made the benchmark across the board for every month, and it's just represented by the orange line right here, is we're going to change that to make that a bar across. So what we'll do is we'll just go right in here, we'll click on a line, and voila. Now we have got a benchmark line that shows what the benchmark is each month, and see how each month's data can go through it. So now, as you can see, you've got an interactive chart. I hope this helps you guys out, and thank you very much.